All right, welcome to, I was about to say South Dakota. Welcome to North Dakota. First time I've ever been to North Dakota to deer hunt. Basically the first time I've ever been out of state other than Wisconsin, but I live right beside it, so I don't consider that out of state. But I got Garrett Prahl with me, DIY Sportsman. We just arrived in town, set up our campsite, and being the turkey hunter I am, wouldn't you know it, some turkeys show up in the campsite. So I got a little bit of video with them and called to them a little bit, had a little fun with them. Anyway, that's beside the point. We're out here to kill some deer and potentially some velvet bucks. I'm just out here to kill a deer. I don't care if it's got velvet or not. But anyway, we're headed to some of the public land we had mapped out. We're going to ride around, see what kind of crops from these areas, what we can see from the road, and hopefully spot some deer. We can't actually start hunting until tomorrow at noon. The season opens on Friday at noon, and so we've got this evening to glass a little bit. Now the sun's coming out in my eyes, and tomorrow morning we can kind of ride around the scout if we want to, and then tomorrow afternoon we can hit the woods. Yeah, that sun's bright. So come with us. We're going to ride around and see if we can see some deer.
Rocky there.
Oh, there goes my phone again.
CRP grass, no trespassing. There.
Oh, right here in front of us.
Oh, you just missed him.
Going up.
Yeah, you missed him in that field. Just dirt.
Yeah. Keep on going. Here he is, right there. That's a doe. Yeah. People must feed them from the vehicles. This deer's walking right up to us.
20 yards tops, she is.
Yeah, hold on a second. Alright, we can roll. This deer's acting like it's tame almost. Anyway, I was talking and we come around the curve and there's a really nice buck in velvet standing in the road, and before I could get, I may have got one or two frames of it as it bounded away, I don't know, but I doubt it. Anyway, I'll quit blabbering and we're gonna start seeing what we can find out here. Oh, right there, stop. All right, get in focus, get in focus. Get in focus, camera.
Those are all unfortunately unposted private.
And they just, I suck as a cameraman.
That's because you're trying to talk into the camera at the same time you're...
Yeah. All right, no more talking. We're going to find some deer and get them on video. That the good buck we saw was on public. Those are on private. There's another deer right there.
This is up here is where we're going to park, that we would have to walk to be able to glass those back fields.
Yeah, hold this for a second and then keep going right there. Stop. I don't know if that's a deer or not, but no. It's like a little sprig of a tree right here on the tree line. Kind of like turkey hunting. Everything you see out there, like it's round and black, looks like a gobbler. Everything that's just a dark shape out there in the distance looks like a deer. We're kind of scanning those hills and fields off in the distance. But she's just off the public, right? That green is not public.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. All right, you want to mosey on then? We found a doe that Garrett's going to shoot tomorrow, right?
Potentially. There's oak trees around, so maybe given that there's not a lot of like typical good deer crops around, it might be more focused on the acorn crops from those trees that are starting to drop already.
Yeah, that's probably going to be our best bet because these fields are just old dry greens. I don't know if the deer are going to be eating them or not. Yeah, we're just going to, I think we're going to, oh, there's a deer right there.
Oh yeah, stand looking at us?
Mm-hmm. You got your binoculars on?
Yep.
There's a doe. Well, she's coming out to the grain. Well, that's a good sign.
No.
So look at all the doves flying across the tree line. We should have got a small game license and dove hunted while we were out here.
With shotguns?
Yeah. That's what you dove hunt with, unless you wanted to bring your recurve and...
That sounds more difficult.
Good morning, everyone. This is, I guess, the official first day of hunting in North Dakota. We can't start till noon, but we had a pretty good night. I think so. I slept pretty good. I'll show you our little setup real quick. There's Garrett's teepee. What kind of tent is that, Garrett?
It's a Seek Outside Red Cliff Light.
And you actually have another tent in there. Can we take a look inside?
Yeah.
You have an actual tent in there. Well, you don't have a tent.
So it's like a bug liner that just sits on one side. So I could zip that up and have bug protection, which was pretty chilly last night, so you didn't really need it. And I just threw in a little table for some extra space, be able to put things on.
Or we could edit there or do something if we wanted to. And then I have my El Cheapo tent we got off of Amazon. I don't hardly ever camp, so here's my nice sleeping bag. This is a warm sleeping bag. I just got this from the Alps, outdoors. It's rated for like -10. I'm cold natured, so I need something that rated for that kind of temperature. Anyway, woke up to a nice surprise this morning. We saw some turkeys yesterday evening, and I had to go to the restroom this morning. We're in a campground. There's some RVs and stuff here, and when I woke up, I was like, there should be some turkeys out here. They were here yesterday evening. They probably roosted nearby, but there was nothing out here. Of course, I went to the restroom. When I came out, they were all around the tents, and my camera's in the tent. And fortunately, they let me get all the way back to my tent. They didn't go too far. They're pretty tame. Well, actually, they're way over there still eating. So what they were eating around the tents was acorns. Let's see if I can find some. Yeah. These guys here. Big old oak right here, a bur oak, and it has been dropping acorns non-stop. So what we discovered yesterday riding around is there's not much for crops in the fields. They've harvested a lot of them, and they're basically just barren of any green growth. The few deer we saw was in kind of like just fallow fields, CRP type stuff, just some natural vegetation growing. So our target's probably going to be that one or two fields we found that just had some grass and stuff growing in, but mainly acorns. The acorns, if this is an indication, are probably dropping really well, and the deer are probably going to be hitting that. So we're going to be targeting the woods. That one spot yesterday I saw a nice velvet buck and a somewhat tame doe. It's about 17 or 18 acres. And I may end up going in there. There's a nice little ridge with what we think is probably some oaks in there, just looking at the satellite images. We're hoping. So that might be my first sit this afternoon. We're going to ride around this morning and check out some other areas and go from there. All right, you set?
Yeah.
All right, good luck to you. We'll see you at dark.
Same.
Shoot me a text if you see anything or shoot anything.
Will do.
All right. All right. Garrett's off to his spot. Let me get in the shade so you guys can see me with all of that harsh sunlight. There's some soybean fields right across the road here. That's private. The woods on the other side of that is public, and then there's a wheat field off to that side left that's private. Garrett and I, doing our glassing and scouting, cyber scouting, determined that there's a good possibility that the deer are coming up from the left out of the oaks. They're going to probably feed on the oaks, but they're also going to work that line, the transition line between the field, and there's some other like CRP stuff mixed in the woods right there on the edge, and work their way up to the soybean field. So that's his strategy. That's where he's going to hunt this afternoon, based on the wind. And tomorrow, if he doesn't see anything here, or he needs to reposition for tomorrow, the wind will be preferable for him to move farther up to these oaks near the soybean field. So that's kind of his strategy. Hope you all understood that. My strategy is, this is public right here. There's a little chunk of private here. we're not worried about that. This huge field back here around the corner is public. It looks like it's a harvested wheat field. On the back end of it is CRP that goes off into a point and then drops way off into an oak point. All the acorn trees, or all the oak trees around here, are just dropping tons of acorns. So we think the deer are going to be feeding heavily on the acorns, but they're still going to want to come up here and hit some green stuff. They don't want to just eat acorns. They want to mix their diet up a little bit. So looking at the satellite images, that CRP looks like there's a couple of deer trails coming up out of there. The wind's going to be good for me to hunt there. And what's especially nice is there are a couple of trees that we can see on satellite images that look like they're suitable to hang a stand, and they're kind of out in the middle of the point, so I can shoot to either side. If a deer comes to my left side, it's going to be perfect. Comes to my right side, the wind's going to be just cutting it, so I got to shoot them before they cross my scent stream there. So I mean, the wind's good for the location. I'm going to slip in there and climb in that tree. Hopefully we see some deer this evening. We didn't see any this morning just riding around, and we didn't see a tremendous amount of deer yesterday riding around, but we're hoping that that's just because the deer are sticking in the woods and they're coming out, you know, right at dark or just after last light. So got my gear right here on the ground. I'm using my Grand Slam turkey vest to haul my stand. It actually works out really good. The stand fits right in the pouch back there. I shed the frame and the padded seat, helped me shed some weight off of it. So it's not too bad of a pack there, a deal for deer hunting. So I'll throw that on there and head back here and hang my stand, and we'll get started hunting. First sit here in North Dakota, first sit of the season. This actually might turn out to be a real good spot because this is a picked bean field. I see beans all over the ground. I'm seeing deer tracks along. Here's a deer track there. Some other ones coming in out of the woods right here. Yeah, another deer trail coming right through here. Another good one coming right through here. And get up in the aspen tree there. That should be a good tree. I'm hoping this is going to be a good spot, and so far it's looking like it probably is. There's a lot of trails cutting across this kind of a CRP type point here. It rolls over, and oaks on the sides. I'm hoping the deer are bedded there and they're going to be cutting across. Coming in here, it looked like a lot of trails cutting across. A lot of them right near this little island of trees that I managed to get into. One of them is all snaggly and it was tough, but I thought this would be the best or the most advantageous spot to sit. Trails kind of converge here. I can shoot to those woods. I can almost shoot to those. I'm about 20 yards shy of shooting to the edge of the woods, so if they come out here a little bit, I'll get a shot. But while I was standing or hanging a stand, small buck cut across the CRP behind me, went up to the edge of the woods. I got a little bit of footage of him before I had to get back to finishing getting set up. Back behind me is a cut soybean field, and there's lots of soybeans that were spilt during the harvest laying on the ground. So that should be something to entice the deer to come up through here. I'm hoping they'll come in here and kind of feed in the CRP and the cover, and then slowly work their way up there. Lots of acorns though, but I'm in a spot that I think I can catch some travel activity. And that small buck moving already, if it's any indication, we should see quite a bit of deer movement this evening. So hopefully it's a fun sit here in North Dakota. It's just good to be in the stand again. Just had a doe come up to the edge of the CRP down there in the corner. She just came up to the edge of it a little bit, come out into it just barely, turned around and kind of went back to the shadows. She just seems to be kind of milling around. good. Seeing some deer activity now. 6:55, so we got just under 2 hours left of legal light. The other two got smart and just walked over to where the other one was blowing. Well, I can't complain. Seems to be a pretty good spot as far as seeing deer. And those three would have come right by my stand had they not busted me. This tree is crooked, so I can't really sit down because the back of the tree curves over. But I sat down to rest my legs. And I guess I just stood up a little too quick, and I looked over my shoulder, and there was 3 does coming straight for me. The lead doe saw me, and she blew and ran off and stopped and blew, and the other 2 does didn't know what was going on. They finally just turned and followed where she went, just walked off. I wouldn't have shot any of them, but I would have rather them come through without busting me. So we still got an hour of hunting light left, a little over an hour. So we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deer so far. That's good. That's going to be our signal to wrap it up. We just crossed into the end of legal light. Still looks pretty light out here in the camera, maybe. At least in the viewfinder it does. But it's the end of legal light, so we got to start getting our gear together and get out of here. Not a bad afternoon. Came in here and just kind of picked a spot based on cyber scouting and what we saw from the road yesterday. Had a small buck go by right when I was hanging my stand up, and another doe come by in front of me, and then 3 does coming straight to me. They were 75 yards away. I ended up ranging the spot where they were standing, and they were 75 yards away coming straight to me, and the lead doe saw me move. I went and stood up. But that's that. I wasn't going to shoot them anyway, but I still don't like busting deer. So we'll slip on out of here and meet up with the other guys, and hopefully they had a pretty good evening also.